Let me give you a few fishing questions. You might not have anything. You might have something. Who knows? Have you ever been on a panel? I assume you do panels at cons. Have you ever been on a panel where one person dominated? They did basically all the talking.
Oh yeah, I would say that's more common than not, unfortunately. And I mean, here's the thing. We all know when we're doing a panel with with somebody who's a big dog. Mm-hmm. Like if I'm getting on a panel with say a Faith Hunter, I know the people in the audience are there to see her, not me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if she wants to like spend most of the time talking, that's great because they're there to see her. Mm-hmm. However, I've also seen cases where it's like, okay, either we're all on the same level, or there is no like big dog in the room, or maybe it's somebody, or maybe there is a big dog in the room and somebody else just decided to make it all about them. Mm-hmm. That is the most annoying thing on the planet, where somebody decides, I'm just going to keep talking, I'm going to make it all about me, and I'm going to ignore the fact that there's 5 other people up here. Mm-hmm. And I would say really what it comes down to is, first of all, it should be the moderator's job to take control in that case. Yeah. But I would say you want to try to be gentle with with jumping in there every so often. But eventually, I think there does come a point where you got to kind of point out, okay, this is not about you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This has only happened to me one time. And in this case, the moderator just totally lost control. Have you ever been on a panel from hell?
I don't think I've been on a panel from, I've been on a couple crazy panels, but I think they were crazy in a good way. Mm-hmm. I've been on a couple panels where it was nothing but me and people I knew in the industry, and we were all friends, and it just went absolutely sideways, but in a funny, bonkers sort of way.
Okay.
I did have one panel where everybody had to leave early, and it was me and this other guy left, and the other guy, I don't know what he was, but all he would do was mumble his answers, and he would never answer the question. He was just I was wondering if he was maybe the voices in his head were asking questions that the audience wasn't. And it was becoming uncomfortable after a while. So every time he'd answer one, I'd try to steer us back to the actual question. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't out of control so much as this is really uncomfortable.
Okay. I was on a panel. This is not the panel from hell. That's I'm going to hold on to that story for a future date if I ever tell it. This is one that actually went pretty well, but it was weird, and it was simply because the topic was Godzilla.
Wish I was on that.
I've seen all the old Godzilla movies when I was like a teenager, and so I had a vague familiarity of it, but the topic was Godzilla, and there were 3 panelists, and one of them knew everything. He knew the director, he knew the name of the guy in the suit, he knew how much the suit weighed, he knew how much footage was used for the American version.
I'm that guy.
Are you really? Okay. And all I spent the entire panel feeding him questions. And the other person that was on, they didn't really know much about Godzilla either, but she tried to mimic me a little bit, feeding him questions.
See, that's an example where somebody monopolizing is a good thing. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, holy crap, it's like, forget it. I want to hear your answers now.
Yeah. I mean, they got their money's worth because man, he was rolling. But anyway, let's see. Have you ever been on a panel where you felt you had nothing to contribute?
I've been on a couple of difficult panels. So 2 years ago at Con Carolinas, Robert Bevan and I, and we both write really blue stories, like lots of language and non-politically correct stuff. Mm-hmm. And the panel was censorship in writing. Mm. And so we thought this was going to be a fun panel along the lines of hey, should you censor yourself? Yeah, hell no. And we went into this thinking this was going to be the most fun panel, and instead it was a serious panel talking about things like child abuse and and domestic abuse and where are lines, where are horrible lines that you should draw, and both of us just kind of sat there uncomfortably for the entirety of it because the panel just was not what we thought it was going to be.
Oh, okay. These were lines, of course, you guys did not cross, but it never occurred to you that they even existed, I imagine.
Well, the thing is, we're both comedy writers, so almost like I was doing a virtual panel last night, and I was talking about how, one of the cardinal rules of writing is you don't kill the dog. Mm-hmm. And how I got into a fight with an editor at one point because there's in one of my books, which is pure comedy, the dog gets killed, and it's a scene that's meant to just be played out for laughs. And the guy was like, "No, you have to take this out." And I was like, "No, there's no way this is coming out because it is wrong, but it is funny." Mm-hmm. so yeah, I mean, we're both comedy writers, so we do cross lines for a joke occasionally.
Okay.
But yeah, but these are not things but because we're writing comedically, it's a whole different vibe than than somebody who's writing some dramatic book about anything really. Mm-hmm. So it was just us kind of sitting there because it was such a heavy topic. There was no way we could even turn it around into making it a joke without looking like complete monsters. So it really was a lot of, they'd get to us with a question and it'd be like, "So do you think this is wrong?" Yes, we do.
Okay. Have you ever met one of your heroes?
Yeah. In fact, twice recently in the last week. Mm-hmm. I love Jeff Strand's. He's a horror comedy writer, and not only did my podcast interview him last week, but the panel I was on last night, he was on. So that was super cool.
Okay.
Yeah. In person, I am one of those people that I have a lot of near misses. Mm-hmm. I used to be a huge wrestling fan, for example. Mm-hmm. I worked in this mall in an Orange Julius stand when I was a teenager. Working all day. I get up to take a 5-minute break to use the bathroom. I come back and everybody's like, "Oh, you missed it. Bam Bam Bigelow stopped by while you were gone." I was like, and that is like every celebrity story I've ever had is they show up when I leave the room.
Okay. Yeah. For the record, I've met my hero twice. Larry Niven was my favorite science fiction writer of all time. Awesome. And I was on a panel with him, and I interviewed him later, both over the phone and then in person as well. And I had a chance to tell him, that I really appreciate the work you've done. It influenced my life a great deal. So that was my hero moment.
I did have one thing. I haven't checked if he's still doing it, but oh god, and I'm blanking on the name. The guy from Bizarre Foods. Mm-hmm. I can't believe I'm blanking.
I'm blanking too.
Yeah, he followed, my wife and I were both huge fans of that show, and he was following me on Twitter for a while there, and I was constantly holding over her head. Like, "Hey, look, I got him."
Oh my word.